Hi, I'm Kyle Sloan, and this is my friend Damon Corneli, and we're going to take a look at some drills that we use predominantly to develop foot sweep skills. Most basically with the Ashi Harai, but this will also apply to a lot of your things you'll see with Okuri Ashi Harai, Harai Surikomi Ashi, and that entire family of foot sweep. So before we get into this, what we're going to develop is a skill set. These drills are going to teach us how to do things where we basically take our partner and do that to them. It's a very simple series of drills that we're going to go over, and these will typically take a good long while to get burned into your system. We've talked a little bit about fundamentals of throwing in another video where we talk about gripping and things like that. If you haven't taken a minute to take a look at that, it might be worthwhile. As we get into doing foot sweep, there's a big problem that we run into in that most of the world, and myself included, tend to leave the knee action out of this. We tend to make it a swinging action that comes primarily from the hip. And really, once I make my contact, I need to get my knee involved and then my hip. So I'm going to catch him, knee and then hip. Catching the foot, knee and then hip. And then we'll make it a good ways, and then Damon will come back and do the same thing to me, knee and then hip. And the hands don't do much at this stage of the game other than receive information about our partner and what he's doing. It should be a very light grip. It's also important to note as you're working this drill, don't swing out and in with your feet. We want to just jump straight to it, and I'll give you an end-on view to take a look at that. Swinging out and in. This is to be avoided. What we would like is an action that basically steps straight forward. It's a quicker, more efficient movement that is really what you should be working toward. As you get increased skill with this foot technique, the other thing we want to look at is how we contact the foot. It should be a catching action, cupping with the bottom of the foot. There should be an element of control. We're not aiming for impact. So if he holds his hand out, if I'm making a striking impact, we get one effect. If I catch it and push it, though, we notice a completely different effect. So as you're doing foot sweep with your partner, as you're working this drill, be sensitive toward trying to do this poorly so you can do it badly to me. So you get this little kicking action. And if you hear that slapping, this is to be avoided. You want to have it as a nice, very gentle catching exercise. As you work on this drill, typically what we'll do is on the last repetition, you have an opportunity to practice Tsubami Gaishi. So I'm working with Damon. I'm doing my foot sweep. We get to the last repetition. He's able to pull that off and reverse me. And we'll go back across the floor. Boom. And we'll get to my last repetition. I'll let him pick it up and then I'll reverse him. And this builds a nice facility into your foot sweep game as well. The next element that we like to layer on is when I have control of his ankle, I want to be, like I said, we're bending the knee first. So we should feel tension in the calf and in the hamstring as I'm actively pulling to hang on to that foot. So that he actually has to really work to pull that away. Now, what's nice about this is that this will pull me deeply into my next stepping action. And you'll notice how Damon's center moves a lot farther. Because I'm actually, as I take my foot away, I'm pulling him with me. So when you do a long time of doing that, there's a little hand drill that goes with this. And the hand action is very light in that I tend to work from a neutral lapel grip. I just rotate my palm over, and sometimes I'll bring it back to neutral. Sometimes I'll give a little light curl upward. So it's just a touch and a little lift, touching and lifting. Tied to his left foot as it goes back. His left foot goes back, so I touch and lift. Now I'm trying to perch him up on his toes. If I'm working this drill correctly, touching and curling, we get this nice effect out of the man. So do it back to me. Left foot goes back, touch and lift. Good. Left foot, touch and lift. And then if you put all of these elements together, the catching of the foot, bending from the knee, and then involving the hip, the little bit of light hand action, as well as cupping that foot and hanging on to it to force him to pull you into that sweep. When you put them all together, it looks a lot like that. So that's our basic foot sweep drill for Ashi Harai. Give it a whirl and play with it and see what you think. Thank you.